Like, he is my bestie and he is a blessing. He is, one of the greatest things that has happened to me since coming to Christ. Hey, it's your girl Marsha. Welcome back to Proverbs 31 Womanhood, y'all. Y'all know I'm gonna always start like that, y'all. I hope you're doing okay. So yes, today's topic, finding my husband and also our age gap relationship. So just so you know, I'll be coming up to 3 years married this year. In addition, what is it? I'm in my 30s, he's in his 40s. And one thing is that when I was a lot younger, like in my 20s, I had this whole vision of who my husband would be. Okay. And I thought life was going to happen in a particular way, and that this is the kind of person that I want. Like, I was like everyone else, I had a long list of everything I wanted, but that's obviously partly part of, my immaturity is trying to like put God in a box and say, God, if he ain't on his list, out the door, right? But you can't do that with God. And I'm learning that, like, there's other aspects of my life, like the job that I'm working and all like that I could have never anticipated. I didn't plan for it, but here I am today. I'm grateful. I'm content. I'm happy. I'm blessed. Okay. So I'm not going to be sitting out here talking about, oh, God did and God did not. Like, no, God is good. Okay. And so, anyway, so I dated for a period of time, got married in my early 20s, I'd say. And honestly, that was definitely not a good decision, because that did not end the way I would have wanted it to, which was divorce, right? Things happened. There was some infidelity and what have you. And I had to make the decision of walking away from that and just going through a period of healing. And it took 7 years. Okay, let me say that again. 7 years to finally, again, get married, but this time get married to the right one. To get married to the right one. 7 years. Now, if you read your Bible, you know that 7 is a very unique number. Okay. Now, I'm not all into, numerology or anything like that, where numbers have to have a significant meaning and that's how you live your life. No, like, God could do whatever he wanted. He could have had me meet this guy in year 4, year 5, year 6, but it happened to be 7. And year 7, we also got married, right? And I'm just sitting here like, wow, God. So the number 7 in the Bible often represents completion. Right? By the 7th day of creating the world, God rested, right? It took 7 times for Israel to circle Jericho, and then 7 more times for the walls of Jericho to fall, the completed work of God, right? And so you see the number 7 anytime God is finalizing or completing something. And for me, I'm thinking that God allowed me to finally meet my current husband at year 7 because that was his divine purpose for me. And I am blessed. Was it hard to wait that long? Listen, I'm a Christian, but I ain't perfect. No, it was not easy. It was challenging. There were times where I almost felt hopeless. Like, am I ever going to find this man? Like, is it ever going to ever happen? And I just, even when I was going to churches and stuff, I look around and think, okay, is there enough men in this church, single men in this church that could be a prospect? I mean, I've been, approached on several occasions, but it was always the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not saved and all this stuff. And I'm like, I can't do that. So, it just had to be a period of waiting and then focusing my time and resources on God. Paul even said in the New Testament that he prefers Christians not be married, because then you can be fully dedicated to God and God's kingdom and priorities. But I knew I was not meant for that life of just singleness forever. I said, God, I want my man. Whatever you want ultimately, but I know I have a desire to be married again. So he honored that. And before you know it, I have who I have. And I had an opportunity to, come across him at a previous employment, and we hit it off. We became friends, connected, and before you know it, we fell in love with each other. And one thing that was important to me is that he had his own relationship with God, which he did. Like, because I'm not the person who's going to want to try to drag her husband to work. Drag her husband to service every Sunday. Like, I'm not going to try to force you to love God, just like I don't want to force you to love me. Either you love God or you don't. Either you following Christ or you're not following Christ. Okay. And Christ is God. And I wanted to make sure we had the same doctrine. I cared about what kind of church he was going to. What are they preaching over there? Because nowadays everybody's a Christian and everybody go to some kind of church, but these churches be wilding out. These churches be unbiblical. These churches be just on something other than the Spirit of God. And so when I learned all these things about him, I said, whew, okay, step one done. And I had a chance to meet his family and, see what he's really about, his mindset, what he thought about his finances, what he thought about the gifts and the talents that he has. Like, how do people perceive him? Like, those things matter. Reputation matters, right? Your relationship with the people who are close to you, they matter. And it's certainly the case with the person you choose to be with, because what you don't want is a fake. You don't want someone who claims to be something only when they're around you, but behind the closed doors or with their friends and with their family, they're someone completely different. And so it was important for me to get exposure to his circle, to know who I was dealing with. And let me tell you, he was exactly who I thought he was. Now, we were friends, definitely friends, before we got engaged and married, thankfully. So there was an authentic buildup. And then, obviously, one thing leads to another, and we're engaged, and then very shortly we are married. I think we were like dating and engaged for like 9 to 10 months before we got married. And in my previous marriage, we were actually dating for like 2.5 years, I think, before we got married. So the time period by which you actually date, in my opinion, doesn't probably matter that much. I'm not saying you don't give time towards it. I would say up to a year at least. I would definitely not encourage someone to just marry someone off whim, like after a week or two, because you're talking about a stranger. Like, don't get married to a stranger. Get married to somebody who you've spent enough time with. You know what I'm saying? Like several months, a year, 2 years, that's fine. If you choose to go over a year, that's completely up to you. It depends on your situation. And it's up to God as well. You want to hear from God. You want to use, a spiritual discernment. So ever since being married, I will tell you that being married to my husband has been a complete and total contrast to whatever I had before. When I went through my first marriage, I knew what I actually wanted. I said, I want somebody who's going to love and cherish me, someone who is going to be romantic. That mattered to me, right? Who has their own relationship with God and is serious about it, right? It's not just a seasonal thing. This is who they are. This is their identity, right? Is their relationship with Christ. And then also, fourthly, their finances. Their finances have to be in order. I'm not saying perfect, but you have to have some basic financial principles set, like being willing to save money. Are you investing so that you can eventually not work forever? Can we live a decent life and provide a decent life for our children when we have them? Things I didn't really consider the first time that became a headache later, I definitely held on to that second go around, because at that point I'm a little more wiser. I've been through the ringer a little bit, and I knew that I was not going to go through that again. And that's why the weight was important too, because you want all the core requirements met in somebody. But also you want to be that too. Like, don't just expect these things of that person and not be that person. You're going to attract who you are, right? We were serious about our careers and honoring God in our careers. Like, we are people who we do things in excellency. Like, I'm not lazy at work. I'm known for being a go-getter. I've gotten multiple recognitions, awards, appreciation for service in my career. I'm known for getting work done, and I'm a professional, and so is he. He don't play no games with his job. He don't play no games when he's at work. We've both been in positions of leadership and influence, and so a lot of connectivity there. And then also, we're intellectually compatible, right? Mind you, I'm saying all this stuff and not a single thing about age and height is coming to mind. Because when you meet your person, you meet your person. And I'm not saying those factors, if it matters to you, is nothing at all, but those are just, in my opinion, they're superficial ones. Like wanting somebody who is a year or two older or your exact age, just a superficial want. Like, I mean, great if you get it, but don't block God off, or whoever God, may lead you to, as somebody like that you write off. You know what I'm saying? By the end of it, you're going to make your choices, and God's going to let you make your choice. Like, you could choose who you want to choose. But at the same time, you want to be open-minded to God. Like, be open-minded to those who are in his kingdom that are potential spouses for you, that may not necessarily meet some of your superficial wants immediately. Depending on what they are, some things are unchangeable, like height and, skin color, right? Like some people, they want a black girl or a white guy, or a black guy or Asian or whatever. Like, okay, that's nice. But, by the end of the day, if I'm serious about who the person needs to be, that's always going to be my primary focus. Attraction matters. I'm not saying attraction does not matter. You better believe it does. We had to be attracted to each other to even give each other the time of day. I was very much attracted to his beard. I was attracted to his skin tone. I was attracted to his eyes, and just, the fact that he took care of himself. He is very serious about health and exercises like nobody, like he's in the army, okay, in terms of his discipline. So yeah. So those things do matter. And my phone is going off like crazy. Okay, I gotta stop this group text situation. But yeah. So my husband has basically met all the core requirements for me, because I was not going to compromise on those core things: finances, faith, his what he did, right? Like his passion for whatever gift or career that he had, and also just character, respect, virtue, right? Like I never felt like abused emotionally, physically, sexually, none of those things. Like, this is someone who respects me. He's a good man, chivalrous, romantic, you know what I'm saying? He's not perfect. I'm not perfect still, but we don't marry for perfection. We marry to become more holy. So where he may fall short, God, I've seen, has convicted him in those areas, and I've seen him, intentionally try to improve. And same for me. I'll, sometimes tell myself, Marsha, you could have not said that, like you could have been a bit more mindful, like learn to put yourself aside sometimes for his needs, right? So I've had those instances, and that's why Christianity is us being in a work in progress. It's a sanctification thing, which is a process. But our foundation was already there though. Like, I'm not marrying someone who I'm hoping comes to Christ. Like, I'm not marrying someone who's isn't serious about his life. Now, I'm not saying that, for instance, on finances, that the person has to be mega rich or anything like that. I'm just saying, does he have good financial principles that he practices so that he can care for his family, right? You don't have to be a millionaire to do that. For some of you who are still in school or who are earlier in your career where your finances aren't necessarily all together yet, and whatever the case is, if you're dating someone like that, that's okay. As long as they're actively working towards it, great. I'm not saying they have to be accomplished then and there with whatever they're trying to achieve. Just make sure that they're at least on the progress. Like, for instance, don't be with someone who don't care about having a good credit score, or who could care less about saving money, because that is a poor mindset to have. The Bible has plenty of verses about financial management, y'all, about investing. The Bible also says that, a man that leaves an inheritance for his kids is wise. What does that mean? You would have had to save and invest and keep something so that there's no cycle of poverty in your own family line. Like, that the Bible says this stuff. Like, this is crazy. So if it matters to God, it should matter to you, and it should matter to that person too. And just be open and willing to learn these things as well. Don't be with someone who does not care, because I promise you, if you don't have a healthy mindset on finances, it will affect you. I can gladly say that finances is not a major concern in my marriage. And we worked for that. No one handed it to us. We grew up fairly poor. We didn't have the best examples in front of us. Things about saving, investing, retirements, all of that. We learned it. We had to go and get the information. We went to school. We learned some things. We learned things. We had to just learn it. If you want to know it, you will seek the information and apply it. And that's what we did. So I can gladly say that finances is not a major concern in my marriage. We are still working on things, but at least we're doing it together. We come to agreement. Yeah, that, we don't want that. Oh yeah, that, like we can agree. And let me tell you, that right there is a motivator in my marriage. It is a blessing in my marriage. So anywho, so just getting now to the age gap thing, right? So we have a 12 years difference. And I'll say this, like being that we have commonality and agreement in so many core areas of our relationship, like age is literally nothing. Like when I was dating him, I don't know if I even asked for his age. Like he was such a great guy and I felt so loved and cherished, and he is my best friend. Like age is nothing. Our personalities, they work together. Like what I'm strong at and what he's strong at, they just complement each other so well. We're best friends. We love to travel together. Like he is my bestie and he is a blessing. He is, one of the greatest things that has happened to me since coming to Christ. I don't know if I could have ever imagined, being able to recover from my past relationship in such a way where God has given me more and abundantly more than I could have ever hoped and dreamed for with the husband that I have today. And so that's my hope and prayer for you ladies out there, especially if you're waiting. If you were waiting like me, like be patient. Like do not dwell upon what you don't have. Dwell upon what you do have, right? Focus on what God is doing in your life today. Some of you need to get healed. All of that past, trauma, some of that past, burden and baggage you still have because you couldn't forgive this person. Now you don't trust men no more because you got cheated on or something like that. Maybe, because of all the promiscuity that you've dealt with and done, that you don't feel like you're worthy anymore. Some of you feel like you're just not caught up in life yet or whatever. Like whatever it is, get healed through Christ. Do prayers of declaration of freedom over your life. Get in a community of people called the church, a local church that is doctrinally sound, that is preaching the word that's in the Bible, and that are living out the love of Christ. Get with those people, get with those women. Like, don't put yourself in a situation where all you think about is your singleness. Put yourself in a situation where you're thinking about your purpose, your call, what God is telling you to do. You know what I'm saying? Your gifts that God has given you, applying those gifts. If you want to travel. Like, don't wait. I was not waiting at all. I was traveling. Them 7 years, I was all over this country. I was in New York, New Jersey, Colorado, Texas. I was all over the place. Ohio. I was going around town, traveling, enjoying my life, spending time with friends whenever I could, having like meaningful conversations, connecting with family. I had just become a godmother one year and I was taking all of this stuff in like, whoa, God, like I was evangelizing and doing some great things, And when I found myself in a little pit, like, oh, when is God going to send me I said, God, if you're the same God, you know what I'm saying, that I've known since I was a child, that got me through so much in my life, this is such a little thing for you. I trust you. I believe you in what you're going to do for me in sending me the right man of God, whoever he is, you're going to give me the discernment and the understanding I need to even pick the right one as well. I hope this video blessed you. We're going to continue talking about biblical womanhood, Proverbs 31 womanhood, just womanhood in general, and anything related to relationships, singleness, or whatever it may be. I will see you on another video.